Hello everyone and welcome to tonight's round of the Monday Night Truck Series brought to us by 131 Web Radio. Coming to you tonight from Bristol, the last great Coliseum as they call it, and Ashley Lear taking a very well deserved pole position and running away there from Jackson Callow. Todd Maxfield actually looks as though he started from the pit lane and with a short track like this managed to go a lap down very early on. You can see him just avoiding, or being avoided more to the point, by the leaders there, just being rounded up on the outside by the number 17 of Shane Witt, as well as the number 40 of Mitchell McLeod, who's right there on the hammer of Jackson Callow now. Right there on him, as you can see, and goes for the lunge underneath. Jackson just lets him go and takes that nice late apex, getting back down underneath him. Unfortunately wasn't able to pull it up and hold that bottom line to hold McLeod at bay, and McLeod ended up completing that move. See Hayden Dodman and Todd Maxfield running fairly closely, as were Shane Witt and Terry Humphries. Matt Danson, our championship leader, just getting involved with him there. Already sporting a little bit of damage on the front, not quite sure how that came about, but he's just working his way up through those other drivers at the moment. Steve Hoppert just giving the little wall a nudge there, and Nicholas Walsh and James Robbie trying their best to take advantage of that little mistake, and they both managed to do so, just clearing him there. Purcell and Callow continued to battle on, and you also had Carolyn Upton there in the number 42, who you just saw, as James Robbie and Humphries continued to battle with one of the talking trucks there right behind him. Looks as though Purcell gets into the back of Callow, which is Dodman's gone into the back of him, and Maxfield's gone into the back of him, turning just about all of those guys around. I think Maxfield may have been the only one to escape unscathed, but Hayden Dodman's teammate, Ashley Lear, led away from the next restart. Shane Witt was having a good run. He was up there for most of the night as Matt Danson makes his way through past Nicholas Walsh and just pulling up onto the back of Steve Hoppert there as well. We're used to seeing Matt running up the front with the leaders, but he certainly wasn't early on, starting from a reasonably low grid position. See Maxfield and Walsh just probably running each other out of room and getting up, probably just testing the integrity of that outside fence a little bit. Of course, brought out the caution, and the two Torque teammates up the front. We've got Ashley Lear and Mitchell McLeod leading the way. Danson just continuing to pick his way through James Robbie and Hayden Dodman, a couple of the other fast guys looking to make a little bit of progress through the field as well. Pit stops coming into play by this stage of the race. See a couple of trucks carrying a bit of damage now, James Robbie amongst them. He ended up running up very close towards the front of the field for most of the night, so damage of course not being such an issue with the relatively low speeds, aero damage, that kind of thing. Probably not affecting these guys as much as it would at a place like Daytona or Talladega, for example. You can see the amount of damage just there, just as you can see the front of the bonnet sticking up on Nicholas Walsh's car, and wasn't doing him too much harm either. Dodman there just diving for the pits as Hoppert and Walsh continue their little stoush, going around the outside of him, staying on the track, do another couple of laps. Matt Danson running up into the wall there also. Pretty rare to see a bang on the wall from him, so it actually shows how difficult it is to keep these trucks within the confines of such a tight circuit such as this. Tight circuit plus such a high speed brought about by the relatively high banking that you see here, just as Danson makes a move on Purnell. See Purnell there just holding the outside. How unlucky was Nicholas Walsh there. He's just managed to get caught as Purnell's recovered himself after banging the wall. That's brought out another caution, and Danson, you can see, has resumed his traditional place up front, but he's got a mirror full of Ashley Lear at the moment, and they will continue that battle for the remainder of the race. Callow continuing to run well. Steve Hoppert just getting into that outside wall. Purnell doing a fairly good job to avoid him. Matt Danson just continuing to lead away. Now he has got mirrors full of torque with both Mitch McLeod and Ashley Lear in up behind him. Just see Hopper getting a little bit loose there, trying to hold that bottom line, and wasn't able to hold it up down low enough as Purnell gets taken out there. He's actually managed to spin himself as well there, Steve. So that's brought out another caution on the restart. It's been the same scenario again with Matt Danson trying his best to outrun the two talking trucks running in behind him. Always trying to hold that high line, very difficult. Yeah, high line is the fastest line here, but trying to hold that around the outside without rubbing the wall is a skill in itself. Both these guys, James Robbie and Terry Humphreys, doing a good job. They ran towards the front of the field for most of the night, as did Jackson Callow. There's Hopper just getting into the outside wall, bouncing back onto the track, and single-handedly taking out the entire torque contention for this race. Hayden Dodman being taken out a little bit earlier on in a different incident. That allowed James Robbie, Michelle Callow and Terry Humphreys to make a charge towards the front as those two talking trunks were eliminated. As a result of that, Matt Danson, though, as ever, manages to come through the carnage and cross the line in first place. Second place going to Jackson Callow, and James Robbie will be very happy to round out the podium in third place. So action-packed round. There weren't actually too many trucks left running on the lead lap, as there was quite a lot of green flag running. There was only the top 4 left. So we'll see if there's a similar scenario next week, round 11 at Richmond. So join us then.